On three. 1, 2, and 3.
I wasn't gonna do this one, but I decided I need to. New music. These are the confessions of a band geek. Time to get personal. If I could, I'd probably do things differently. These are the confessions of a band geek. Reminiscing, thinking how I got to where I'm at. Throwback before I even learned how to rap. Tell my story kinda sorta like my diary. These are the confessions of a band geek. Music molded me and made me, me. If I could, I'd probably do things differently. I used to only take my horn home once a week. These are the confessions of a band geek. 5th grade, I remember it like yesterday. I saw the band and decided I wanted to play. I tried the trombone and the sax, but that wasn't fun. I always had rhythm, so I wanted to play the drums. But ain't nothing happening, I guess it was too late. I decided I ain't want to play them anyway. Then the director told... Then the director told me give the cornet a try. Handed it to me and told me to try to make a sound. Watching the hands to make sure I had the form down. Couple people staring, so I'm not trying to look stupid now. Played it so loud, I had everyone looking around. From that moment, I decided it was on. 5th and 6th grade passed, I was still going strong. 7th grade, my folks were glad I was serious about something. Moms took me up to Sadler's and bought me my own trumpet. For real. Before I even learned how to rap. Tell my story kinda sorta like my diary. These are the confessions of a band geek. Music molded me and made me, me. If I could, I'd probably do things differently. I used to only take my horn home once a week. 8th grade at Waldo, everything switched. That's when I met Mr. Conrad and Mr. Tripp. New beginnings, never seen nothing like this. Private school to public school, I had to get a grip. Met a gang of homies that I loved like my brothers. Straight clowning up in class, couldn't tell us nothing. Walked to school every day with Louis Sotero. Was taken way too soon, we'll see you again though. Freshman year at East High, man, it flew by. Still all up in my shell, I was super shy. Was cool with all the jocks, cause my brother Hoop, my cousins Treese and Ann had me plugged with all the ladies too. Sophomore year, it felt like having pep band. Playing in the stands, drunk off 211. At the games, me and Vernon used to wild out. And all my fellow band geeks know what I'm talking about. Straight up. Before I even learned how to rap. These are the confessions of a band geek. Music molded me and made me, me. If I could, I'd probably do things differently. I used to only take my horn home once a week. The year was when I started skipping class.
Rise and shine. Pour yourself a cup of coffee and tune in to Good Morning Aurora. News, weather, and really cool interviews. Monday through Friday from 8 to 9 a.m.
Most motive already.
That's why you gotta get them off
Just
early.
yeah, sip it up. When we mess up, it's a community sip.
Cheers.
All right, let's try that again. The most motivated morning show in the world is live on a Saturday. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is now 9:03 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast, and we have.
You always go so fast and I can't get in the
Isa Saxon, good morning. Michelle Gummins, good morning. Maria Chorito, good morning. Here's the thing. Look, we have a special guest today. We have an artist. We have a creative. We have a brother. And we also have a dedicated member of the hip-hop community. And that trail of superlatives That's the word of the day, superlatives. Let people know the word of the day when you get a chance, Monica. That trailer superlatives could lead to only one man, and that's Justin Wise. Yeah, word up. Highest low, we in the building.
Well, thank you. That was a quite illustrious intro, and I appreciate it. I am the rapper guy. My name is Justin Wise. I am part of a hip-hop duo called Highest Low. We have been doing music nationally and internationally for the last 12 years, while maintaining our regular lives at the same time. And I am here to talk to you about many things.
All right, very good. Bianca Camargo, good morning to you. So, now you got a new project dropping, which we will get to as well. But for those who are unfamiliar, let us know the genesis of Highest Low, who's in the group, and local stuff or recent things with the group.
So we began as a group when I was in high school. I might have met Cruz my sophomore year. He might have been a junior. A friend of mine was like, "Hey, I got this Mexican kid. You got to battle him." And I was like, "All right, cool." And we battled each other, and I'm not gonna say who won or lost, but it was a mutual respect there.
Right.
And with that, I was like, "Hey, man, we should do something. Like, we should work. We should definitely do some work with each other." And we ended up, doing a couple of mixtapes. A lot of it initially we were just rapping on Little Brother instrumentals, MF Doom instrumentals, and
rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, MF Doom for sure. And just figuring it out. And all these years later, we're putting out solo projects back to back. We're just staying engaged, and we started so young that we're still pretty young, which is nice. But yeah, we're just trying to grow and evolve in the space of music, and a lot of times, our music has been more traditional hip hop, traditional boom bap, traditional, underground hip hop music, where it's very about lyrics and cadences and things like that. And this project that I'm doing is a little bit of a departure from that.
Okay. Interesting. So yours is a departure from that, and it seems like Cruz's recent project, the 94 tape, was kind of a go back to that kind of thing. So that kind of, I think for the listeners, that'll definitely show a different style, flexibility, range of you guys, like an actor.
Exactly.
Tom Cruise. I mean, is he Top Gun? Or is he
Minority
Jerry Maguire? Oh, Minority Report. Good movie.
That's a slept-on movie, actually.
Oh, snap, that
Minority
is.
Report is slept-on.
All right. Cruz is here in the chat. Good morning to you, Cruz. Bianca Camargo, good morning. GMA, happy Saturday. Laurel Bates Gilbert, good morning to you. And Victoria Hyla Maldonado, great author and friend of the show. Good morning to everybody. Where did the name Highest Low come from?
So initially we went under the guise of the Architects.
Yeah.
And this is when we were in high school. We were selling CDs at Kiss the Sky in Batavia under this name, and we were just trying to figure it out, like doing things in an independent way. But we had got to get with Maker, who's a producer from the area who's done a lot of incredible things. I mean, he's done tours. He's had
Shout out to Maker.
A lot of accolades, and somebody we really respected since we were younger. And I was like, what are we going to call the project? And at first I was like, we should call it the Highest Low. And that's what we're going to call the project. And then I kept looking at the name, The Architects, and I was like, no, that's not it. That's not it. And I tried to make it about something. I was just thinking about trying to make the highest quality of hip hop music at a time. I felt like it was a low point, in the music, which it necessarily wasn't.
Right.
I was just, it ain't real hip hop at the time. That's just where my mind was at, and which is a little bit removed from that now. But yeah, I mean, and then people always make jokes like I'm tall and he's shorter than me.
The Highest Low.
Yeah, shorter than me. He's not short, but it's a funny thing. But I think it sounds pretty dope, and I think it's also a nod to Low End Theory.
Yes, another great group. Yeah,
so,
the Low End, or Tribe Called Quest,
which is probably the group that I feel like we're most inspired by. Is probably Tribe Called Quest.
Tribe Called Quest. Shouts out to them. Tribe Called Quest takes me back to a lot of memories of being young, like when that album dropped and everything on it, Butter, just the beats,
Yes.
like the rhymes, and it's so one of the elements of hip hop that I really like the most is the delivery. I respect the delivery. You know what I'm saying? How you flow on the track. I think that's one of the key elements in hip hop. But we'll get to all those elements here in the show. The time is 9:09. Where you born and raised?
So I was born in LaGrange Hospital.
I was born right in
LaGrange
River.
Memorial Hospital. But my families didn't want to take me to the hospital on the south side. My family, we are from, the Brainerd Park neighborhood of Chicago.
Okay.
Which is like, specifically my grandmother's house was on 80th and Bishop.
Okay.
But then, we did a little bit of moving around, ended up in Aurora.
Okay.
Because my parents decided maybe we wasn't going to get raised on the south side, me and my brother. So that was good, but I still kept in touch with my roots there quite a bit. But I came to Aurora when I was late in elementary school, and I pretty much grew up here. And it was a culture shock to me because when I thought suburbs, right? You thinking like Downers Grove, Woodridge, Wheaton.
Yeah. Well met.
And you come here, you're like, damn, there's some culture here.
Right.
It's different cultures here. And, I got to learn a lot about, the Latino community here that I didn't know and I wasn't exposed to. I got to learn a lot about, different races being around each other.
Yeah.
All around each other. Like, because even, I went to West Aurora High School, it was kids from Sugar Grove that went there.
Right.
But then it was kids that lived in the projects that went there.
Right.
So it was just an interesting dynamic. But, I always appreciated growing up here because it gave you multiple sides of life. Like, you might know somebody that was very well to do. You might know somebody that didn't have it. You might not even know. You might not even be aware of how those people's situations were because sometimes they wanted to tell you, sometimes they didn't. Some people were, very well off and acted like they were so, rah-rah.
Right, exactly.
You
live in Stonebridge.
Like, we know about you.
Yeah.
But you want to come hang over here where you shouldn't be hanging out at.
Don't you go to a private school?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know you. I was gonna start quoting the 8 Mile lyrics, but yeah. Parents got a real good there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Aurora, I feel like gives us a diversity in thought. Like it's not one thing. It's not one place.
That's a good way to put it.
It's not. I feel like when we were younger, I feel like they wanted to pass off Aurora as Naperville. Like they wanted to be like, oh, it's Aurora, but I mean, it was very different. It was more working class. It was more, people were more friendly. People were more, would say hello to you.
Right.
Yeah. When you walk by them in the street and things like that. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's the culture shock aspect that you mentioned is very interesting. Musically, one of the things that I've learned after being different places and going and traveling and everything is like I've been exposed to different music genres and artists that I never would have heard of unless I met person X and they was playing that tape. Yeah. Back when there was tapes and all that. And you're like, wow, let me borrow that tape.
Please.
Then you go home and dub it, and then now you got it, and you take it elsewhere. That's how music and culture spreads and everything.
See, I had my brother. I got a tape CD player when we were young, and I remember the first 2 albums he had got were hilarious too. He had got Big Willie Style CD.
Will Smith.
He had got Big Willie Style on CD, and then he had got Feel So Good by Mace, a single on tape.
Oh, wow.
And I remember, man, we got this. How we gonna get the CD? So I remember DMX first came out. I borrowed the CD from my cousin. I dubbed it from the CD to a tape, gave it back to him, and I kept doing that for everything for like Diggable Planets, from like all the old Wu-Tang. Like I was just borrowing it from people that I knew or from getting it from the library,
right?
And just dubbing it onto a tape.
Now, when you so let's go to you and starting to learn Justin Wise? Because you that's your name when you perform.
So my rap name is really Just Wise, but
Just
sometimes
Wise, right.
I'll go by Justin Wise. But like my last name is not Wise. Wise was just like a nickname. That
It's not? What
no,
the-
no. That's not my. That's not my real last name.
Oh, brother, you done it. You did a damn good. I didn't. How successful! I had you
Rebrand.
I put it everywhere. Like, yo, Justin Wise. Who is Justin? Oh man, okay.
Yeah. And now my last name is actually Levitt. Shout out to the Levitts out there.
Word up.
Like I said, my family's not really from here. We all were, originally from the South Side. So I didn't. Only other places I really have family. Like I got family in Texas, but that's about it that I know of.
Okay.
But yeah, all my family was from there. So when I came here, I felt like everybody had a cousin here. Everybody had a cousin here. Everybody had an auntie here. And I'm like, man, that's crazy. Y'all whole family from here.
Right.
Like, and generations, of people that've been here in the city. So, but I feel like a lot of my friends' families from around here treated me like family.
Okay.
And I appreciated that.
So, your rap name is Just Wise. You
Just
go by
Wise.
that.
Yes.
When did you become Just Wise? Where did that? When was the genesis of Just Wise? Was you in the bathroom mirror one day? I don't know if anybody else does this. You got the toothpaste and that's the mic. Like, yo.
No, it was an air mic. It wasn't. It was just.
Yeah.
Just that. Just
like air guitar.
Yeah, like just going like that, rapping in the mirror. But it was. The first few rap names I tried to come up with are hilarious, by the way. But
Let us know what the first few rap names
I'm
were.
gonna go ahead and let y'all in on this because it's hilarious. I was like, so growing up, me, my dad, and my brother, we would watch kung fu movies together like every weekend. We watch like the old kung fu flicks, and we'll just rent them. And I was like, man, I want to be Dragon.
Okay.
I thought it was funny because I was always about like all the mad kung fu, mad anime, mad like video game, Japanese video games specifically.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, but I was mad corny. I was like, nah.
Dragon.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's not it. And
Thank you for not going by the rap name Dragon.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yo, we got Dragon on the show.
You know what? Make a cool name for like a car, maybe.
Right.
Like it'd be a cool car.
Mitsubishi
like
Dragon.
Okay, I'm gonna cop that.
Right.
Okay, well, this got a V8. Okay, I'm copping the Dragon. It's electric. Okay, yeah. But it was just a bad choice. But I thought about it probably more when I was in like middle school. See, middle school is kind of where I started rapping. I started like battling people in the middle school that were also rapping, and I just was like, Wise. I thought Wise sounded cool, and also I was really about like, I don't know if you know about like 5% stuff from like New York. Where
of course.
Peace to the gods,
and earths,
and
yeah,
all
of
of
course.
that, and all of that. And I was into that for a period of time because I was so into like Rakim and Wu-Tang Clan. And I was like, ooh, Justice Wisdom, Just Wise. And I was like, all right, cool, that sounds dope. And I kind of went with that. But yeah, it's been it ever since. But a lot of people just, I always feel like I wanted to use Justin because I always feel like I had to represent for the Black Justins out there,
Yeah, it's not it's not a black name. Yeah, no.
It is funny. I got a homie from the city, my boy.
Black
he's a Black Justin too, and every time I see him, hey, Black Justins, we out here. We representing the dark skinned Black Justins. There's plenty of light skinned Black Justins. Right. Dark skinned Black Justins, we out here.
So what are in your opinion, what are the elements of hip hop? You can't have hip hop without what?
Breakdancing, DJing, graffiti, and MCing. Okay. And of course, I'm missing one. Breakdance. Did I say breakdancing?
Yeah, you said breakdancing. Yep.
Okay, but
breakdancing, MCing, DJing, graffiti.
It's supposed to be 5 elements though. I'm tweaking hard.
Somebody put that in the chat for us if you want to. The time is 9:18. I'm sure
it's the latte's fault. It's the chai latte. Don't blame me if I forgot it. Don't blame me. Okay, I'm super hip hop. Don't trip.
Now, so those are the elements of hip hop. Did you dabble in any of the other ones? Do you got tag skill? Were you breakdancing at all? You're kind of a big brother, so I don't know.
I was not breakdancing.
Okay.
I was probably a little more slender because I hooped, but like I was not breakdancing. I did like kind of work on my just my pen form. You know, I would try to do a little graffiti in between class, just kind of scribbling things down on paper. But I never was went to go out doing graffiti.
Right.
I feel like what I was actually going to mention, and the real other element of hip hop is the producer. That's the most underrated element of hip hop that's not really represented correctly. I've been good at rapping a long time, right? I mean, at least I think so.
We all think
we've been good at rapping a long time. If I never had a dope producer, I would have never been able to do anything, because every time I sit to write something, the beat is telling me everything. It's like you hear a beat, it's like you just, all the words start coming to you like the Matrix code. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. But if there's no feeling there and there's no emotion in the music, then you won't be able to write anything of any importance.
Now, Maker was the producer?
Of this one, no. Of my project, it is going to be my friend Matt Audio Dope. Shout out to Matt Audio Dope. He actually just dropped a project this week for the end of Filipino American History Month. And it's very Filipino in a lot of ways, and I respect it a lot because a lot of my friends are Filipino, and I like to see that people be represented correctly. But I was definitely happy to be a part of that. But he's a young producer from Chicago as well that works at a studio called Classic Studio. Okay. Classic Studio right now is on fire. I mean, like, they've done
in Chicago.
Yeah, in Chicago.
Okay.
They did SZA's record, like producing and mixing, like work on there. They did a lot of work for Chance's coloring book. So they got Grammys, on the wall when you walk in there, like Grammy plaques. So you're like, oh, I got to do some work today. I gotta put up some jump shots in here today. But he's
gotta get busy.
But he's an engineer there, but he's also a beat maker, a producer, and for this project, he did all the beats. He did all the engineering. He did the mixing and the mastering, and to have that all in like one location, like, was powerful for me. It was very important.
Now, that wasn't your first time being in a studio.
No,
you've been acclimated to the studio experience for many years, right?
The first time I went to a studio, actually, hilariously enough, was in middle school. We had a school talent CD. And my music teacher, Mr. Lambert, shout out to Mr. Lambert. I believe he is still teaching music at Jewel Middle School.
Is that right?
Hold
on, reach out to Mr.
Teacher Kenneth Lambert. He's a great teacher. Shout out to him. He let me use the little studio they had in the school, and I recorded a rap song, and I just didn't cuss. I'm like, all right, let me just not cuss. All right. I think I messed up on the song and kept it anyway. Like, just one little part, and that just makes me laugh. To be like, because now, like, I'm such a, like, picky person in the studio. Like, to think that the first song I was just like, let it ride.
Well, what does being picky in the studio mean? What do you mean by that?
For me, like, I feel like a scientist when I go in the studio. I feel like I'm not, I'm gonna rap, and I'm gonna like try to come up with melodies, and I'm gonna like try to get my verse complete. I don't go to the studio without having everything ready first. Like, everything is written. I don't go in there and be like, hold on, I need 15 minutes. Like, I don't do that.
Right.
So I go there, I'm prepared, but like, it's one thing to have a verse. It's another thing to have the performance of the verse up to snuff. Like, you're performing something. Like, people would think, oh, it's just a rap song, and he's just gonna say some like 16 bars, and it's gonna be what it is. But like, where do I punch? What do I punch back in? How do I deliver this part? Where's my voice going?
Right.
Should I just try to run this all the way through? Should I do stacks on top of this verse? What does this sound like if we maybe take out the drums right here, or maybe we could have somebody play keys right here, or we could, it turns into production. It turns into like producing.
It's like knitting a quilt.
Yeah, it's like
it's
like a puzzle. It's like a puzzle, like a lot like a puzzle. And that's probably why I fell in love with it, because I'm just a nerd and I like puzzles, and like figuring out how to make something sound right is like, yeah, it's my favorite thing to do.
The time is now 9:23 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. We are here with Just Wise of the Highest Low. He's got a project coming out, which we're going to tell you a little bit more about after a little commercial break from Monica and some news.
Good morning, everyone. Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all our content. There you will. Oh my God! What is going on with us today?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
Good morning, everyone. Don't forget to please subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay up to date on all of our content. There you can also watch all of our interviews and receive notifications when we go live. I'll be sharing that link with you all. Today, Saturday, October 30th, the Alive Center is hosting a pet parade from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm pretty sure you can still find some tickets on the Facebook page. There will be trick-or-treating from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Awesome. And then the GAR Museum is also having some great activities for all of y'all to enjoy. Some trick-or-treating, the absolute best show will be at GAR. So see y'all there.
All right. So, back to our interview here with Just Wise. So tell me about Delusions of Grandeur, November 5th.
So it's a collection of 8 songs.
Okay.
It's very much up to date with, how beats are done, there's still a couple of songs where I kind of go the old school route and where I still, incorporate some boom bap. But it's very much trap style beats with heavy bass. The cadences are very much, of modern cadences. I do use a little auto-tune. I do use a lot of cussing on this project.
Snap. All right.
But like not just for nothing, just because that's how I felt.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I feel like, I'm 32. I've done music a long time. I've seen music change a lot since I started making it. And like I respect a lot more people than just, Nas and Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. Of course. I love, as much as I do love and respect them, I listen to a lot of different music. I listen to, Isaiah Rashad, which is somebody who does, more just different things with the music. I listen to Young Thug. I used to listen to, I listen to a lot of different people. I listen to Drake. I listen to a lot of different people that are, mainstream artists.
Right.
But I did want to do my own style of that. I still wanted to speak to the things.
Your own rendition of it.
My own rendition of that. And I still wanted to speak to some things. There's a lot of braggadocious things on there. And that's part of why it's called Delusions of Grandeur. Because sometimes people in their mind, they're like so much further than they are, like in actuality in life. And I think I feel like in music, I'm saying it from a cocky aspect of being like, people is not really messing with this. They got delusions of grandeur. Right. I'm saying also like the idea that we can look at life and like feel like flexing, which I'm doing a lot on the project as well. Okay. Like flexing is like this thing that separates us from other people. That's a delusion of grandeur. You can have. I was reading a study. It said that if you make $60,000 a year, you can't really. If you make any more money than that, you can't really have more happiness than that. That's like the median level of happiness.
Interesting.
Based on income is $60,000 a year. And I thought to myself about that. I'm like, when I was making $10 an hour, I wasn't very happy.
Right.
You know
right.
what I mean? I wasn't very happy. I was very like, and that's when I felt like I was making music to get on. And that's another reason I call the project Illusions of Grandeur, because I realized I'm no longer making music just because I gotta get on. I'm making $12 an hour. I messed up out here.
Right.
Like,
right. I'm trying to holler at Jay-Z and all that.
Who gonna put me on? Like
Yeah.
now that my professional life, I found stability. In my personal life, I found stability. In my adulthood, I feel like now I'm just making music. I'm just having fun.
You so to that point, I think that a lot of people, even if they are making the 60,000 or more or less, whatever, even if they have talents, a lot of people are just not happy with themselves.
Yeah.
And they're not comfortable with who they are as an individual. So even if you've got the best bars, even if the Mercedes is new, even if the crib is plush,
they still won't be happy.
If it's not here,
you got to know what makes you happy.
Exactly.
And I have this theory. I'm not I don't want to get political or religious.
Oh, go ahead, bro. I mean,
time
is 9:29.
I'm not a religious person, right? I didn't grow up in the church, and I grew up, in a very philosophical home. You know what I mean? I grew up. My mother at one point worked for an encyclopedia company, Britannica, for a short period of time. And we had all of these encyclopedias in the house, and me and my brother and my dad would watch Jeopardy and play chess.
Love that show.
And things like that. So the idea, I always look at life in phases. Like, I know I'm gonna go. That's the first step of realizing what to do with your life. Like, I'm not gonna be here forever, and I don't know what happens next. If there's another life, that would be great.
Right.
I'll take it.
Right.
Please. Yes. But if there's not, I'm looking at, I feel like every 3 years, our life completely resets. Like,
that's a good point.
A lot of the things that we thought from before, we have to be able to get rid of it. We have to be able to relearn and unlearn and be able to change. The only constant
in life is change.
If you can't change, if you can't adapt, if you can't take 3 years of new information and make the proper adjustments, you're never going to be happy. You're always going to be stagnant. Because I was unhappy and stagnant, so I know what that feels like.
Right. Many people have always said, this thing happened to me and was a life-changing moment.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, if you're living life how you should be living, you should probably have a bunch of life-changing moments. You should all the time. You know what I'm saying? Even if it is a 3-year interval, or
whenever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is. Your life you should be having penny drop, egg crack, upside down moments all the time. That's the only way you're gonna make it. Here's the thing. Then let's kind of stick on the philosophical nature that we're on. What is hip hop with no philosophy? Isn't that a tenet of it almost? It's not one of the elements that we just talked about, but
it's an original part of hip hop. It's the philosophy, and people always wonder, why do these kids like rap music so much, right? And my grandmother was watching The Box, on TV, watching Snoop Dogg.
Damn, you're taking it back right now.
You know what I mean?
You're taking it back.
And she loved it. She enjoyed it. And, she was, in her 60s. And, but I think what it is about hip hop is it's a culture. It's really a culture. And I see it everywhere. I see it in people that I've met that didn't respect hip hop. People be like, oh, rap music. And they wear their hat to the back.
Right.
Or, that's cool. Who you think said that's cool or that's dope first?
Right.
Where you think this stuff comes from? Or
exactly.
What's up? What do you think that comes from? Everything comes from hip hop, pretty much.
Right.
And the culture of hip hop has changed the whole world, because you could go, I went to Japan with Cruise 3 years ago, and people they love it.
Oh,
they
big
love
over there.
hip hop.
Big over there.
They hear it's an afterthought, but just seeing people dress in a certain way, in Tokyo, what do you that's crazy,
right?
Or in the rural parts of Japan, seeing people with Air Force Ones on, you man, that's crazy,
right?
And it's transcended music. Rock and roll very much is hip hop. Rock and roll became hip hop,
yeah.
And You know, the certain people will know who originated rock and roll too.
Chuck Berry.
So it all, and you know, Little Richard too. Little Richard was very much, you know, inspires hip hop. You know, like the showmanship, the move the crowd, it's all connected. Black music is really all connected, and without black music, I mean, America is like real boring. I mean, honestly.
No, word up.
I hear it.
Could you imagine if only thing on the radio was Leonard Skinner?
Oh my God.
This would be terrible.
But even I hear it now. I hear country music. I hear it taken from hip hop.
Oh yes.
Don't even get me country music taken from hip hop.
Now y'all doing the twang with the.
No, it's like people like country music because they like scared to like hip hop, but then like country music uses like 808s and
it's just spicy enough.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Spicy
and
enough.
Even the cadences when singing sounds very R&B now, and I'm like,
who was the guy? He was kind of country rapper. Was it Jason Aldean?
He might have been one of them. I know,
but like
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard that too.
I can't think of the name of the guy.
But
if y'all know, put it in the chat, please. The time is now 9:34 a.m.
Yeah, but it's very dope to see music evolve, and that's not to say like all music is black music, right? But like American music without black music is probably like nothing. But like, I mean, you think jazz, you think rock and roll, you think hip hop, you think blues. I mean, like, ain't no country music without blues.
Exactly. So, and to stick on that point, good morning, Michael Johnson. Good morning to you, sir. And I'll come back to Cruz's thing about knowledge. That must be one of the elements hip hop he was talking about. Here's the thing. I love, one of the things about me, I love metal and I love some rock too.
Hell yeah.
It is like the line between like blues and rock and then jazz and then classic rock. It is, it's like Oswego and Montgomery.
It's not far.
You don't know exactly.
If
you listen to enough James Brown,
what? I love James Brown.
Led Zeppelin is not going to be a stretch for you.
And I love Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
I love Led Zeppelin, but like, I love rock music, first of all. Let me say that. I love, I'm more obscure with rock, like, I mean, not obscure. I like Weezer a lot.
Oh, don't even.
I like.
Say it ain't so. My love is just a heartbreaker.
Yeah, that's that. I actually drove around Beverly Hills playing Beverly Hills, and I felt really cool that day.
Word up.
But Weezer, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I mean, even when I was younger, I'm going to give a shout out to Linkin Park. People be hating on Linkin Park, but no, Linkin Park was important for me when I was growing up because they had a DJ and they had a rapper, and I thought that was cool.
Right.
Not Limp Bizkit though. I never thought Limp Bizkit was cool. Shout out to you guys that thought Limp Bizkit was cool. Except the song with Method Man though, the Fred Durst and Method Man song. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I love all kinds of music, and I really get that from my father. My father, growing up, he had a lot of like vinyl, and he had like Prince, all the Prince records, because my father was a big Prince fan. It's all my R.I.P. Prince. My father listened to country music. My father listened to jazz music and R&B, and did listen to hip hop. He still listens to hip hop. My dad just turned 60. He'll be playing J. Cole sometimes when you come to the crib, and I'm like, yeah, that's Pops.
That's what's up. Yeah, my dad is the person who got me into my so Herb Kent.
Legend.
So you were a Chicago brother, so you would know, but Herb Kent, V103, the Battle of the Bands, the Dusties on Sunday, and that's the essence. That's really the essence.
V103, let me tell you what that means to a little kid growing up.
That's the essence.
Like, you was gonna hear some smooth talking. You hear me, or like just some smooth jazz.
Yep.
Well, I can't forget WNUA 95.
95.5. Oh my God. WNUA 95.5.
Ooh, don't sleep.
Oh,
you
God.
know,
The
you
time is
heard
now
that.
9:37, huh?
If you did. No, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, we're in a moment.
Yeah.
We're just in the moment.
Yes,
we are in the moment. Okay, let's get back to Earth here.
Okay, all right.
Now, I had some Lip Bizkit albums. Thank you for sharing that, Cruz. Michael Jackson, the lyrics and rhymes of the blues. 60, not old, guys. That's right. Yo, don't be down on LS, Leonard Skinner. Shouts out to you, Norman Peterson. I'm not gonna diss.
Yo, back up on Leonard Skinner right now. Don't play with him.
Exactly.
Don't play with him.
Let me say that, of course, because you get turned on by things that you are not used to.
Yeah.
And shout out to Leonard Skinner. Shout out to all creatives out there.
Shout out to Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. That's my. Oh, yes.
Money.
I love Pink Floyd.
What?
So I think Cruz was talking about knowledge. He put that in the chat about one of the elements of hip hop. And when it comes to knowledge, hip hop, rhyming, putting words together, delivery, cadence, staying on time, you have to be knowledgeable. You cannot be a dun-dun-dun.
You have to have like I look at myself as an almanac, right? I think in my mind, like even freestyling, like I'm able to pull from a multitude of experiences,
right,
and just pop culture references and like how I'm feeling that day. That's a combination of those things. Like you just say random things. Some things you may have said before. Sometimes you're going to fall back on a line like, oh, I still got this line in case I don't have anything.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple lines. I've been using this since I was like 10.
Like everybody does that. But as far as the knowledge, though, I feel like for me, it was like the ability to feel good about myself as a little black kid. You know what I mean? Like the ability to like KRS, like fight the power, like KRS. I'm talking about
Public
KRS and
Enemy.
Fight the Power, but Public Enemy, Fight the Power, KRS and Boogie Down Productions talking about things about the inner city and talking about how black people have to unify and talk about the 400 plus years of oppression through music. That was happening a lot in the early 80s. I mean, the late 80s and early 90s.
Right.
It was a very stream of consciousness before wokeness. It was like just Afrocentricity, like a lot of African medallions. I remember that when I was a kid. I remember seeing people come around with the kufis on. And it was
Queen Latifah, all that. Yeah, PM Dawn.
It was very about, that wokeness. But did I say the wokeness? Oh God, that's terrible. But it was about knowledge, and it still is. And I feel like certain people still touch on it. I feel like Cole talks about things like that. So does Kendrick. I mean, a lot of artists still touch on it. So I mean, sometimes I feel like now there's a different hip hop for different moods. Like I wouldn't go to the club and want to hear Common.
Right.
I don't go to the club. Don't get me wrong.
No, facts.
I don't. Sometimes
facts.
I do.
I can't even.
I end up there on accident.
It happens. Yeah. My sister's having. She graduated college. We gonna be here.
I'm
Okay,
here.
Word up. Yeah.
Okay, we out in Atlanta on the Thursday. We might go to Magic City. I did do that. So
let me go home and change real quick.
Exactly. It might happen, but like I wouldn't want to hear certain music in certain settings. Like I know, like this week I'm about to go to Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to hear like a country song in Mexico.
No.
I want to hear like authentic music of the region.
Yeah.
And like
Chente.
Exactly. Like you don't want to go to the West Coast and listen to Wu-Tang. You want to go to the West Coast and hear Snoop Dogg on the radio because it hits different. It feels different.
It does. I used to live in I lived in California.
Different.
When you get off the plane, you get that dun 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 dun.
Like,
it's still DRE. Like
you're like, okay, I understand this a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I remember I went to, and I go to Toronto often because Toronto.
Shout out to Canada.
A quick drive from here. I mean, it's not really a quick drive. It's about 8 hours, but to me, that's nothing. Anything past 8 hours, though, I'm good.
Right.
But if I could take my car and I just show you my passport, you let me in, and then I'm eating Jamaican beef patties, and Anyway, Toronto's a good time. I recommend you go. But listening to music from there, like listening to The Weeknd there, or listening to Drake there, or listening to Majid Jordan there, it sounds different. The music from there sounds different in the place where you go to, and that's why I really want. I haven't been to New York. That's high on my list because
I haven't been to New York either, but a lot of big Mobb Deep fan, Capone and Noriega, Wu-Tang,
yes,
Cormega,
yes,
all of that. I'm a real big. That's my East, and it always has been my East Coast music and hip hop and style. I haven't been to New York like you say either, so I haven't been able to really immerse myself in the scene with the music. But Chicago also has a winter.
Yes.
We got the L.
Yes.
I've been coming off the brown line, the green line, or something that's mad rainy, snowy.
Yeah.
And you hear the Mobb Deep. It fits.
Oh no, that fits.
It
for
fits.
sure.
It
New York
fits.
music fits Chicago well. Chicago is it's like a whole bunch of cities in one. But it's definitely still, it's very much its own thing.
Yeah.
But like, if you look at a movie set in New York and you see a movie set in Chicago, depending on the location,
right.
it could look very similar.
Right.
Or in Toronto too, because they shoot so many movies in Toronto, because Toronto looks like, it could be a couple different places. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I feel like it's crazy, like, listening to music at certain times of the day in certain locations. I mean, maybe if you've been having some libations, or maybe you partake in other things, right. It changes the whole dynamic of songs and attaches different memories to them. Like, people always wonder, like, why does this song hit me so hard? There's some memory in your mind that's attached to it. Like some it could be like the first time you met somebody, you remember hearing a song, and now it's with you forever. And you think about that song the rest of your life.
And certain shit, you can't even hear it no more.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even.
And nothing's worse than a song you can't find that's attached to a moment. Like, man, what was that song called? I heard it this one time. I can't remember what the song is.
I found a recent song that I started listening to it. It made me cry. But there's a song. It's called "The Entertainer" by Tony Clark. That song, I can't even listen to it with like other human beings around and shit, because it just brings up like mad emotions. Like, it just hits mad different. Like, I'll never forget, like, we were listening to it. Well, I was asleep, and we're driving down Martin Luther King Drive, and I was asleep, and I woke up, and I remember just looking out the window, and it's just like, it's the inner city.
Yeah.
It's the inner city on King Drive. This was like
the symptoms are there.
Yeah, it's like 1993, 4, whatever it was. And I remember looking at the scene. I'm hearing the music, and I look at my dad, and my dad is driving, and he's, what I'm saying? He's with it. You're the entertainer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's ugly outside. But in this car,
it's dope.
It's like the most beautiful, uplifting shit.
Yes.
And I was like, that song has, like, I can't even listen to other people around.
I relate to that on a lot of levels.
It's crazy.
That's dope.
Tony Clark, The Entertainer.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
It's an emotional song for me. The time is 9:45 a.m. You are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Bianca Camargo tells us Banda. Is that music we should listen to in Mexico, Bianca? The next time I go, our brother will look it up. Y'all got any banda in here?
I'm gonna do that.
Me no say.
You know what? And I want to speak to this a little bit too. Growing up here, the diversity of Aurora, I feel like, is incredible. First of all, and I grew up here in the the late '90s, early 2000s was my heyday, right? And I didn't know too much about Mexican culture until I was here, and I think it's very important for people. This is the thing that's really going to stop prejudice, right? We have to be able to have cultural exchange. We have to be able to look at each other's cultures and say, man, that's really cool that you do this. I like that. Let me try that. Right. Or, and cultural exchange takes place. Like, I'm a rapper, but one thing I want to eventually be is like a Black Anthony Bourdain. Right? I want to be somebody that can go to places and help people see, hey, this is how people interact here.
Oh, shit. Justin Wise is in Thailand right now.
and this is how the culture is here, and this is how the people is here. And, R.I.P. Anthony Bourdain, I think he got that. He talked about, bad political policies in places, where he was there, like, hey, it's really real out here. But the people are lovely. They're beautiful. They're coming up to you. They're showing you their culture, they're giving you their food and their history, and I feel like we don't have to travel around the world to do that. We could do that here every day, and I do. I don't just say that. Like, I'm always about like cultural exchange, and it makes us grow as people.
No, it does. I spent my early years, like real early years in Harvey, and like there weren't many. Like there was only like one Latino neighborhood, and I went to Catholic school when I was a kid, and that was like the neighborhood.
Right.
Marion Nazareth, shout out to Marion Nazareth on 158th and Wood Street.
That
was it. But then like I'd hang out in Humboldt Park every now and then. So
shout out to Humboldt Park.
That was it. It wasn't until I went overseas, like Panama and all that, and I saw like people that look like you.
And but
they don't speak English. I'm like, what the hell? Black people speaking Spanish. This is crazy.
70% of Brazil is of African descent. But they speak Portuguese. Portuguese. That's how they say it. I got a friend of mine who lives in Sao Paulo.
Hey, yo, man, your words is off the chain right now, man. I do the word of the. Hold on, bro. You got to slow down with the vocabulary, dog. That's what's up, though.
I'm cultured, man. I'm a man of culture.
That's what's up.
I went to a quinceañera when I was 14, and it was wild because I was dating their daughter. I was the black kid that came to the quinceañera. So
right.
On the east side of Aurora in 2003, 2002. So yeah, it started off one way.
Right.
Ended a completely different way. Right. I shouldn't have been drinking, but I had some drinks. I might have had some shots for her dad. Shout out to him.
Had a king say it's cool.
Yeah. So it was, and that's what it's about. It's about people create barriers. I don't want to say the media because you are the media, but in some ways, media and sometimes it's passed down.
Sure.
From one person to another person. My father always told me, if I would have told you that this remote was God when you were a little kid, you would have believed that this remote was God when you're like 25 years old. And I'm like, damn, that's messed up.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So imagine telling somebody, hey, don't trust these people, or, and that goes for us too, because of, certain situations in the streets, people end up looking at each other in ways they should not. And the moment that's let go, that's why now in Aurora is so beautiful. I see so many biracial kids, between, blacks and Latinos and, and black and white people and Mexican and white people, because life, the idea of race is so crazy because it's not about race, it's about culture. It's about cultural exchange. It's not about the color of our skin. It's about us I could talk to somebody about Pink Floyd. Somebody could talk to me about, a certain dish because I love food. I love all food. That's why I'm probably such a cultural person because I love food.
Right. I'll go to your neighborhood for some good food.
What?
Yeah. What's Ecuadorian?
What?
Yeah.
You said papusas? You got some papusas
Word
in
up.
here today? Oh, we pulling up. Oh, we pulling up for that. We pulling up for the sopes. Yeah, we need that.
Jennifer Ryan Mayton says, I still have family in Humboldt Park. That's what's up.
Humboldt Park on the check-in.
We'll check in. Yeah, word up. Yeah, division. Mm-hmm. Okay, Norma Peterson says, preach. Thank you very much, Norma Peterson. The time is 9:50 a.m. and we are here with our good friend Just Wise of Highest Low. So, what's next for Highest Low and Just Wise?
So, project dropped November 5th. It's going to be on all DSPs. It's 8 songs. My boy Cruz Ocho is on there. My friend Matt Audio Dope did all the production. He also recently dropped a project called Gifts From that I'm also featured on. It's his first project. It's all instrumentals and different local artists on it. And it definitely was something I was happy to be a part of as well. As far as for me, I will be playing a show in December here in Aurora, which is a rarity because it can be hard to do music things here sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I will be at McCarty Mills, actually, of all places. So
word up.
Yes,
when is that?
That is going to be in December. A date TBA, but I believe it is going to be December 3rd. But the date is TBA. I will also be having a listening party on Monday for my project at Classic Studios. However, it is very limited capacity, so I can't really invite y'all. I'm so sorry.
What?
I really would. I mean, I can invite you.
I'm about to say,
you invited. You can come out. Yeah, but it's limited space.
Monica,
you can come too. Yeah, it's great. We're gonna have assorted alcohols. We're gonna have pizza. It'll be a good time. But it's just very limited space. Or I would invite all the beautiful people out there.
Right.
But there will be a album release party shortly afterwards, and I will be releasing some merch. A friend of mine did the album cover for my project. His name is Terrible Tony. You can find him on Instagram. He's an incredible artist from South Bend, Indiana, and
South Bend,
yes.
Indiana.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What a. All right. Anyway, go on.
Yes. But he did an incredible art for this project, and I was very lucky to work with him. We'll be working on some merch together soon as well. So yeah, that's about it. There is another Highest Low project we will be starting soon. I can't talk about that right now.
Okay, word up.
But we're gonna get to that soon.
Exclusives. All right, very good. Okay, 9:53 a.m. So I want to plug in something real quick. I got a little piece of news. Take me to a commercial, Monica, if you would, just for a brief moment. Let you guys know that today the City of Aurora Community Services Engagement Team is presenting the Sage Crest Family Fest. That's going to be from noon to 3 p.m., 827 North Lake Street in the back parking lot. Special guests will be Aurora's very own APD Chief Keith Cross and Spider-Man. Oh, snap. See if you qualify for a free Sky Elite tablet. Bring the whole family out for music, food, fun, and activities. There will be a bounce house. Costumes are optional. Free pizza, hot dogs, and hamburgers. There will also be raffle prizes for children and adults. Our dear friends of the Neighbor Project, which is the premier housing organization in Aurora, will be doing much more stuff with the community services and engagement team. So please keep your eyes peeled for that. The time is now 9:54 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Norman Peterson, thank you very much for mentioning the GAMS get together. I would be remiss, not the word of the day. Superlative is the word of the day. I would be remiss not to mention that. November 7th, which is a Sunday, the greatest gathering of human beings, possibly since the first time brothers got together in a cipher, will be happening at 24 North Broadway, which is Tavern on Broadway. We will be interviewing Tracy Duran, local Aurora author and historian. She'll be having some great Aurora stuff, historical stuff for you guys to look at, touch, and feel. Some items and some collectibles. That'll be from 10 a.m. to noon, and then from noon to 1 p.m. will be networking. $4 mimosas the whole time. Come on out for a good time and a good show, and be sure to support local. All right.
I love it.
All right, so we've got 5 more minutes.
Want these bars? No, I'm just
hold on, because we got an instrumental in there. Hold on. Hold up. Yeah, we want them bars. Hold on. I know we got an instrumental in here somewhere. Let me see. Yo, can you flow to this?
I don't know about that.
I don't know.
That might be difficult. I like that though.
Yeah, that's the
that's when you getting ready. You putting your shirt on. You ironing something real quick. Getting a cup of coffee. Yeah, that could play in the background.
How about this? We're gonna see if we can get some bars real quick, y'all.
Let me see what I can do.
We're gonna see.
I'm gonna rap over some horns today. That's a good thing. I like horns. Okay.
That's all I got on this computer.
That's okay. We'll make it work. I'm gonna try not to use cuss words.
All right, bet them up.
How does it feel to be losing and winning? I mean, how you gonna run in place and be going the distance? I mean, you gonna say the same thing and say that it's different. If I'm popular, God, I just make up with persistence. Call me whatever you want. I'm just a brother with vision. Man, these brothers be tripping. I'm more intellect driven. Rappers all about dividends, but I'm gonna need my divvy when you split the percentages. My sentences like sentences to a prison bed. Take a look at this. Giant in the room, use the fire in my soul to supply you with the boom. Explosive sickness. What's the diagnosis? All that I could hope is I'm the one that's chosen, so y'all can do whatever, it will never leave me broken. God is awoken, the floodgates is open. Pandemonium soon as I step up to the podium. Here we go again,
Here we go again. I'm not even gonna try to just flow again. I know I win, and we never lose. What do you choose? Don't ever try to abuse your whole self and life. Husband or wife, spoon or knife, life is trife. Let me get off this mic.
Maybe some chopsticks. Hold up, I got this. Off of the top, I kick the rent in, but it's cool because I spit it off the top. When I be doing it with this music thing, I'm not new to it. I'm quite true to it. True blue to it. You Blues Clues with it. Ooh. Not you though.
Oh, that was dope. All right, you know what? Because I'm not even gonna try to carry that. Thank you very much. That was that was awesome. That was absolutely wonderful. Got busy to that little beat, man.
You know, gotta have something
right.
On the tongue,
But that's so maybe one of the other elements of hip hop is creativity.
Right.
You have to be creative.
You know, I'm getting into the acting world, and I feel like hip hop is gonna help me so much with that.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm shooting a small film in Iowa actually next month for a couple of days. It's going to be called Ghost Puncher. Look out for that. It's actually got some actors coming from LA to Iowa to shoot it. And I don't know, a friend of mine reached out to me and I was like, they was like, we'll pay you. You want to do this? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, word up.
I always wanted to act in it. Actually, I was born the same day as Denzel. So yeah, you know, put me in the game, coach.
Right. Okay, so it's 9:58. So the show ends on a positive note. What is your message for everybody, but what's your message to the hip hop community?
My message to the hip hop community is don't get stagnant. Try new things. Remember that you're making an art, regardless of how people perceive it to be. Certain people will look at it as art, certain people won't. What I feel is, you know, an MC is just as much of an artist as a guitar player or a trained vocalist or, you know, anything like that. It all depends on how serious you take your craft. If you take your craft seriously, people will take your craft seriously. If you play with it and you joke with it, people will take it as a joke. And then, you know, I want to just give a message to Aurora. Aurora, I love y'all. You know, I love being from here. I love seeing people in the street that I went to school with and seeing their kids now. And I love hearing stories from people like, I remember when you was rapping in the hallway. I remember when you was doing this show in here in Aurora in 2010 or something. I love to hear it. And I just love to see people in Aurora looking happier. I feel like Aurora has a happiness to it right now that's beautiful to see, regardless of, you know, anything that's happening here. And it's just beautiful to see people getting along and the city growing, because the city is growing for sure.
Yeah, it is. The city is growing. The people are coming up. The people are developing, and we are all, we all blessed, man. We all just, we're doing something. I personally feel like the flood. Let me start over, because I don't feel like the floodgates are open, because that would assume that, hey, it's open. Anybody want to? No, I think that more people have their personal floodgates open.
Exactly. They're more, because Aurora is going to get to a point, and mark my words, Aurora is going to get to a point where we're like Oakland. Where we're going to be I'm a too short
fan though too.
We're going to be like Buffalo or Oakland, because it's 200,000 people. Like people always go, oh, it's just like, it's not really a suburb. It's not. It's not that. It has a culture. It has a feeling, and it has a vibe. You could go almost any place outside Chicago, that's right outside the city. You don't really get that, There's almost like a way of being that's very Aurora to me, like, and I lean on it often, and it's helped me a lot in my life. So I appreciate Aurora forever.
Good morning to you, Josue Pais. Good to see you, my brother. All right, the time is now 10:01 a.m. This was a great interview, man. Good episode. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
I look forward to coming back.
We look forward to having you back. So, Delusions of Grandeur.
Yes.
Excuse me, that's dropping November 5th. It'll be 8 songs by our friend Just Wise here.
Yes.
Shout out to Cruz, Ocho, shout out to the whole Highest Low.
My bro, for sure.
Maker, Matt Audio, all y'all, and Mr. Lambert at Jewel Middle School. That's what's up.
Shout out to him too, yes.
We appreciate it. You guys go on out and have some fun today for Halloween. Get your trick or treat on. Once again, as Monica mentioned, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. is the Alive Teen Center's Pet Parade that's taking place in downtown. There is a route that's marked. And also from 1 to 3 is the Downtown Aurora trick-or-treating. Go to the GAR. Some of the coolest stuff you've ever seen is going to be happening at the GAR. And that's it. We will see you guys back here Monday on the second largest city's first daily news podcast. Take care of yourself and each other.
Peace.